Hello students, let us start our lecture with topic mobility. Now students, the word mobile means if something moves, we say that it is mobile. So here also in a substance, the conduction is due to these mobile charge carriers, means those charge carriers which can move. Now if these charges are moving, then we get the current also. In solid, liquid or gases, this type of mobile charge carriers are there. In metals, free electrons are mobile charge carriers, means the conduction is due to these free electrons which can move. In electrolyte, both positive and negative ions are mobile charge carriers, and so the conduction in an electrolyte is due to both positive and negative ions. And so in the gases also, gases means it should be an ionized gas. So now students, let us see the definition of mobility. Mobility is defined as the magnitude of drift velocity per unit electric field. And so this formula, the symbol for mobility is mu. And so here the formula for mu according to definition is mu is equal to drift velocity upon electric field. Now students, if you know the formula for any physical quantity, then you can easily get the unit as well as dimension. So every time I should not tell you how this unit is obtained. You can easily obtain from this formula. You know the unit of velocity, you know the unit of electric field. So if you combine both these units of velocity and electric field, you will get this unit. And if the unit is known or the formula is known, then you can easily get the dimension also. Now let us give this equation number 1, and from the drift velocity concept of that drift velocity we obtained this equation. So now using this Vd here, we'll get this equation after simplification, or you can simply say that in this equation bring this E from right side to left side. So what will be here? Vd upon E, which is this only. So Vd upon E is nothing but it is mobility, and what is remained here? E upon m into tau, and so is this. Here this tau is the average collision time for electrons. Now topic number 3.6, limitations of Ohm's law. Now students, we know that according to Ohm's law, V is directly proportional to I, and this V is proportional to I is followed by most materials, and we know that it is a straight line graph for V versus I. And so we can say that the resistance of this type of material is constant when there is a straight line. But there are some materials and devices which do not follow Ohm's law. Means for this type of materials, V proportional to I does not hold, and this type of materials are generally semiconductor devices. Means those devices which are made up of semiconductors. So students, here some examples are given that for a semiconductor diode, this is an component of an electric circuit like resistor, capacitor. Even diodes are used in an electronic circuit. So the graph for this diode is not a straight line. Its V versus I graph is a curved line. So if it is not a straight line, we say that it does not follow Ohm's law. Even you can see that when the voltage and currents are negative, means in reverse direction, then also graph is not a straight line, it is curved. So this device do not follow Ohm's law. Even gallium arsenide, that is GaAs, is also a semiconductor device. You can see the VI graph for this GaAs is also not a straight line, it is curved line. So students, this type of materials which do not follow Ohm's law, they are widely used in electronic circuits because of this special property. Now next topic, topic number 3.7, resistivity of various materials. Now students, we know that the materials are classified as conductors, semiconductors and insulators. These materials have different resistivities in them. Metals, they are generally conductors. So this type of materials, they have very low resistivities of about 10 raised to minus 8 ohm meter to 10 raised to minus 6 ohm meter. Means you can say that here the resistivity is very less because the power is negative. In insulators, resistivities of this type of material is of the order of 10 raised to 18. You can see the power is positive, means the value is very large. When the power is negative, the value is very less. So here as the power is positive and see it is 18, so it is a very large value. And so for this type of materials, as the resistivity is very large, they do not conduct the current, and so they are insulators. Metals, they can easily conduct the current because their resistivity is very less. Here I have given examples also. For metals, it is silver, copper, aluminum, etc. Insulators are glass, rubber, even pure water is an insulator. Then the third type is semiconductors. Students, this semiconductor have the resistivity between metals and insulators. Means semiconductors have resistivities lying between the resistivities of metals, that is conductors, and insulators. Examples of this type of semiconductors are silicon, germanium, carbon, etc. Now students, these conductors, insulators and semiconductors, their resistivities are given in table 3.1 of your textbook. So simply go through it, no need to remember the values. Now about types of resistors. Generally two types of resistors are used. One is wire bound resistors and the other is carbon resistors. Students, these resistors are used in electronic circuits, also in laboratories for experiments. These resistors are commercially manufactured so that it can be used for different types of purposes in electronic circuits. Now about these wire bound resistors. This type of resistors are made by winding the wires made up of alloy like manganese, constantan and nichrome. Students, you can see here a wire wound resistor. This wire which is wound over this metallic core. This green color is a metallic core on which this resistive wire is wound. That is, it can be manganese, constantan or a nichrome. Now, the choice of this resistive wire is such that its resistivity do not change with temperature up to some extent. Means it is independent of temperature. We know that generally the materials, their resistivity changes with temperature. But here this material of the wire is taken or chosen in such a way that for a short range of temperature its resistivity remains constant. Second is about carbon resistors. Resistors in higher range are mostly made from carbon. These carbon resistors are very compact, they are inexpensive and they have widespread use in electronic circuits. Students, this type of resistors, their size is very small, they are very cheap, means they are not costly and they can be easily connected in a circuit, and so their use is very wide. Carbon resistors are small in size and hence their values are given in terms of their color codes. Students, generally if any component of the circuit is there, then its value is printed on that component. For example, if there is a capacitor, then its value is printed on that capacitor. If there is a cell or a battery, its value is printed on that. but these carbon resistors are so small that their values cannot be printed on it, and so there are color codes to detect its value or to find its value. Now students, you can see in this figure, this is a circuit, and you can see here this are capacitors, even this is a capacitor, and this are resistors, and you can see there are color bands. There are total 4 color bands in each resistor, and from these color bands called color codes of a resistor, we can find the value of that resistor. Students, this black color is a diode, semiconductor diode. This is also a diode. So this type of components are there in an electronic circuits. Now we will find how to get the value of the carbon resistor on which the color codes are given. Now students, color codes of carbon resistors. Here in a table the colors are given and the number corresponding to that color is also given. These colors are used on a carbon resistors, and from that we can get the value of these resistors. Here black color represents 0, brown represents 1, red represents 2, orange represents 3, and so on up to white. So the numbers are from 0 to 9, means all 10 digits are given and their respective colors. Also there is a tolerance. Tolerance means how much the given value of the resistor can change or can vary. So if there is a golden color band, then we can say that the value can vary in terms of plus or minus 5%. If it is silver, then it can vary up to 10% plus or minus, and if there is no color, then it can vary up to 20%. Now students, let us find the value for a carbon resistor. So now in this figure, this is a carbon resistor, and here at its end these are connecting wires by which the resistor can be connected in a circuit. Now students, you can see there are 4 bands, and these bands are made up of colors. Color rings can be found on these resistors. These 3 bands are close to each other, but one band is away from it. That means this distance will be little large, and so this band is considered the last band, and from this side it is considered as a first band. Now this first color band represents tens place of a number. Second band represents units place, and the third band represents the power of 10. And so from that we get the value of this resistor, and this last band is made up of either gold, silver, or sometimes it is not present, means no color is there, and it gives the tolerance. So now let us consider this example. Suppose the first band is of red color and second band is of brown color. So first two digits are known to us, red and brown. So let us see the table. Red represents number 2 and brown represents 1. So 21. This is the tens place. This is the units place. So we get 21. So I have written here 21. Now this third band, which represents the power of 10, it is of blue color, and here you can see in this table this blue color represents number 6, and so the power of 10 is 6, and this last band is of gold, and gold represents plus or minus 5, and so I have written here plus or minus 5%. So this much value in ohm is obtained. 10 to the power 6 is there. So if we do not want to write in terms of power, we can write this as mega, because 10 to the power 6 is mega, and so 21 mega ohm is the value of this resistor, and it has a tolerance of plus or minus 5%. So students, I hope you understood how to find the value of the given carbon resistor on which the color bands are printed. Now, how to remember these numbers corresponding to their colors. So for that, students, remember this sentence. This simple sentence can help you to remember the numbers and their corresponding colors. I have written this statement as B.B. Roy goes Bombay via Gateway of India. This B.B. Roy is a name of any person. He goes Bombay via Gateway of India. So you can remember this statement, and so you can simply write the numbers starting from this B, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. See the capital letters B.B. Roy. So 0 to 4. Then G from this goes, that is 5. Bombay, that is B, which is 6. Via, that is V, it represents 7. Gate, that is G, represents 8. And way represents 9. So B.B. Roy goes Bombay via Gateway of India. Here this of India is simply to complete the sentence. It has no use for the color. So I hope you can remember this sentence, and then you can apply to find the value of a given carbon resistor. Now students, let us take one more example for this color code of carbon resistor so that you can understand it properly. Here this first band is of brown color and brown color represents number 1. Second band is of green color and it represents 5. Third color is red, it represents 2, and the last is gold, it represents tolerance. How much? So it is plus or minus 5. Plus or minus 5% is the tolerance. Now first two digit 1 and 5, so it is 15, and then this third digit gives the power of 10, so into 10 raised to 2, so it is 1500 ohm. So value of this resistor is 1500 ohm. You can write 1.5 into 10 raised to 3 ohm also in the power form, or you can write this as 1.5 10 raised to 3 means it is kilo, so kilo ohm, and finally plus or minus 5%. So this is the value of this resistor. So students, always remember this will be the last band, gold, silver, or if there is no color, and from this side you have to start number 1, number 2 and number 3. This will represent the power of 10, and these two numbers are tens and units place. So I hope you understood this. Now about topic number 3.8, temperature dependence of resistivity. That means how the resistivity changes with respect to temperature. Students, for metallic conductor, as the temperature increases, its resistivity will also increase, but that is up to certain restricted temperature range. But for very high temperature it is not valid. Means here this formula which we are going to use for temperature dependence of resistivity is only valid for this much range, means some restricted temperature range only. For large change in temperature this formula is not valid. Now here in this formula, rho T, rho means resistivity and here T means resistivity at this temperature. Here this rho naught means it is resistivity, but it is the resistivity at this temperature T naught, and here this alpha is the coefficient of resistivity, means it is a constant for a given material. So for different materials the alpha will be different. Now unit of alpha. Unit of alpha is degrees Celsius inverse, or in SI system it is Kelvin inverse. Now students, whenever there is a temperature dependence of resistivity, then we will use this formula and a similar formula for temperature dependence of resistance. is used. So this is the formula for it, but it is not different. It is similar to this only. Simply you have to replace this row by R. So you will get this formula. RT is equal to R naught 1 plus alpha into T minus T naught. And students, we will also solve the two most important examples related to this formula. But before that, graph of rho versus T for some materials means resistivity versus temperature graph for limited range of temperature means temperature should not be very high. So here three examples are given. One is good conductors, that is metals, that is copper is given here. Other is an alloy made up of nickel and chromium, and this alloy is nichrome, and the other is semiconductor. Students, you can see for metals, that is here it is copper, with temperature resistivity changes like this, that is non-linear. It starts nearly from 0, means at 0 Kelvin temperature the resistivity is also nearly equal to 0. Then it increases with temperature slowly, but as the temperature increases little more and more, then resistivity will increase even larger, and so the graph is like this. Then you can see for this nichrome, at 0 Kelvin temperature it has some resistivity. You can see this line does not start from 0, means at 0 Kelvin temperature also it has some resistivity, and as the temperature increases from 0, its resistivity increases linearly. So there is a linear graph. And for semiconductor it is something reverse. For nichrome and for this copper, you can see that with temperature the resistivity increases. Even here also resistivity increases. But for this semiconductor, with temperature resistivity decreases. At 0 Kelvin temperature, you can see that the graph is like this. It starts from here and it moves in the down direction. So at 0 Kelvin temperature, its resistivity is maximum, nearly we can say infinite. And so at 0 Kelvin temperature, this semiconductor will behave as an insulator because of high resistivity. But as the temperature increases, what happens? Its resistivity goes on decreasing, and so it starts conducting, and you can see at large temperature its resistivity nearly becomes 0, nearly 0, not 0 but nearly 0. So we can say that the semiconductors at high temperature behaves as a good conductor, and at 0 degree Kelvin temperature it behaves as a insulator. So this is about the graph of resistivity versus temperature. This type of things can be asked in MCQ. Now we will move to the example. Now students, just go through the textbook, read the statement of this example 3.3. You will find that an electric toaster is given and it is heated by applying this much voltage. At that time the current flowing through that toaster, that is from the coil of that toaster, is this much. And so when the current flows by applying this much voltage, what happens? That coil gets heated, and so the temperature of that coil will change. And so here we want to find that temperature only when the switch is made on. So students, here it is given that at room temperature, when the switch is off for this toaster, the temperature is 27 degrees Celsius. At that time resistance is 75.3 ohm. So we have kept that resistance as R1, and at that time the temperature as T1. Now switch is made on, and so the temperature changed. Initially it was T1, then it become T2, and so we want to find this temperature only. Here for this electric toaster, the heating material which is used, its temperature coefficient, that is alpha, is given. It is 1.7 into 10 raised to minus 4 degrees Celsius inverse. Now we know that this is the case of temperature dependence of resistance. So what we will do? We will simply use this formula. So R2 is equal to R1 1 plus alpha T2 minus T1. When the resistance is R2, the temperature is T2. When the resistance is R1, temperature is T1. So students, here which things are given? Here this T1 is given, T2 is to be obtained, alpha is given, R1 is given, but this R2 is also unknown. So here there are two unknowns, R2 as well as this T2, which is to be obtained finally. So now first our aim is to obtain this R2, and if we are getting this R2, then by simply putting the values we can calculate easily this T2. So now first we'll find R2. So when the switch is made on, this much voltage is there and this much current is there. So applying Ohm's law, we can find the resistance R2. R is equal to V by I according to Ohm's law. Voltage is given, current is also given. So put these values. After calculating, we will get this as 85.8 ohm. So now we have the value of R2. So now in this formula, all the values are known, only this T2 is unknown. So if one is unknown, we can easily find that unknown. So here I have simply kept the values. 85.8 is the value of R2, 75.3 value of R1, alpha given 1.7 into 10 raised to minus 4, T1 it is 27, and this T2 is unknown. So applying simple mathematics stepwise, you can get the value of T, that is T2. Students, now I should not waste the time to show this type of calculation. But definitely if you have any doubt or any problem in calculating this, then you can ask me. Now you will get the answer as this much, and finally rounding up you will get T2 as 845 degrees Celsius. I hope you understood this. So this is the temperature when the switch is on for that toaster. Now next is about a platinum resistance thermometer. This type of thermometers are used in industries because in industries the large temperature is to be measured. So the ordinary thermometers cannot be used, because if we put that type of thermometers inside that material or molten metals which are used in the industries or in the chemicals, then that ordinary thermometers will melt or it may get out of order. So a platinum wire resistance thermometer is used. Now students, here it is given that at ice point the resistance is 5 ohm for this platinum resistance thermometer. Now ice point means temperature is 0 degrees Celsius. Then at steam point the resistance of this platinum resistance thermometer is 5.23 ohm, and steam point means it is 100 degrees Celsius. So students, these two temperatures are not given, but this statement is given, ice point and steam point. So we can write these temperatures. Now this thermometer is kept in some hot bath, means we don't know the temperature of this hot bath, and so we need to find this temperature of hot bath, but at that time the resistance was known, it is 5.795 ohm. So here we can say that the three conditions are given: this temperature and resistance number 1, this temperature and resistance number 2, and this temperature which is unknown and the resistance, that is 3. So what we will do, we will use first two conditions, and then by using these two conditions we will find the alpha, that is temperature coefficient, and then again we will use first and the third condition, and then we will get the temperature. So now using first and second condition, we can write this formula: R100 is equal to R0 1 plus alpha T100 minus T0. You can say this temperature, this resistance, this temperature, this resistance. So formula is that only, temperature dependence of resistance. Now all the values are given, only alpha is not given, so we have simply kept all the values which are given, and then we can obtain the value of alpha. A simple calculation is there. So students, alpha is obtained to be 0.00046, that can be written as 4.6 into 10 raised to minus 4 degree Celsius inverse. Now alpha is known to us, Now using first and the third condition. You can also use second and third, but why we are using this first condition only? It is because it is easy to calculate, because here the temperature is 0. So when there is a 0, calculation becomes easy. Otherwise, you can use the second and the third condition and put the values. The answer will be same only. But to make it simple, I am using first and the third condition. So RT, temperature T, R naught, temperature T naught, and alpha, which we have obtained here. Now here all the values are given. That means this RT is given, R naught is given, alpha we have obtained here, T naught is given, that is it is 0 degrees Celsius, and unknown is only T. So simply put the values, you will get the temperature of that hot bath to be 345.65 degree Celsius. So students, I hope you understood this. In your textbook, a direct formula is used, but this direct formula can be used when we need not to find the alpha. Means if in a example, if alpha is not asked to find, then we can directly use this formula. So here in this example, if you read the statement, it is not asked to find the alpha, so we can use this direct formula. Actually this direct formula is obtained by taking the ratio of these equations. Which equations? So this equation from this first and second condition, then this equation which is from first and third condition. So if we take the ratio of these two equation, then we get this shortcut formula. So whenever you use the shortcut formula, at least write the formula for temperature dependence of resistivity, and then you can use directly this form, or first you can write this also. In textbook it is directly used this. So temperature difference upon temperature difference, resistance difference upon resistance difference. You can see here T minus T naught, so it is RT minus R naught. Then here T100 minus T naught, so here also R100 minus R naught. But here this T naught is 0, and so we will not write here this T naught. So what remained here on left side? T upon 100, and if we'll make the subject T, this term will move here. So T is equal to RT minus R naught upon R100 minus R naught into T100. Finally, putting the values, all these values are given, and you will get the answer. So students, I hope you understood both the methods.